Welcome to video 2 of my double layer blanket video series. In this video I'll be teaching you how to do the bottom layer of your double layer blanket. As you can see, when you crocheted your top layer, you have little windows in between each shell on your top layer. To do your foundation row, you'll chain the same amount of stitches as you did for your top row. In this blanket, it was 180 stitches. Your foundation row will be slightly different, so you can position it to where your bottom layer will show through your top layer in those little windows. So, for this foundation row, you will do one single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then do another single crochet in the very next chain. Skip 3 chains, and in your 4th chain you're going to do 7 treble crochets. Skip the next 3 chains, and in the 4th chain a single crochet, and then skip 3 more, and in the 4th 7 treble crochets. You're going to continue alternating these 2 steps across your whole bottom row of your blanket until you get to the last 7 chains. You're going to skip 3 chains, and in that 4th chain you're going to do a single crochet and then another single crochet in the very last chain. And that will be your foundation row for your bottom layer. Your next row is going to be a chain 7 row as in the other blanket, and we will be attaching it to your top layer. So we're going to chain 7, and this first chain 7 will be a treble crochet and 3 chains. So you're going to get your top layer and turn it over to where the wrong side is facing, and then position your shell in that window, and you're going to single crochet in your 4th treble crochet, and at the same time in that single crochet that's between your half shell and your shell. So let me do that. And then chain 7, and the same thing in your 4th treble crochet. You're going to single crochet into both layers just like you did before to attach it to your top layer. Chain 7, and do the same thing again all the way across your row until you get to your last single crochet, and then you're going to chain 3 and treble crochet in that last single crochet on your bottom layer only. I can't find it. Now, as you can see, your bottom layer is slightly off center, slightly shorter, but when you crochet your edge, you'll be pulling that down to match, and even though it doesn't look like it will work, trust me, it will. Okay, your next row is going to be a shell row. I think I did that wrong. Excuse me a minute. So for your next row, your shell row, we're going to chain 1. Excuse the cat fight, please. You're going to single crochet in that first single crochet, and in that chain 3 space. And you're going to go to your next single crochet and work a shell, which is 7 treble crochets. And then same as on your top layer, we'll single crochet in that chain 7 space, treble crochet in your next single crochet. It's very similar to your top layer until you get to the ends. And then single crochet in your chain 7 space. All the way across your blanket. I do my 7 trebles and my single crochets, and single crochet in your chain 7 spaces across your whole row until you get to that last chain 7. And then you're going to end by doing a single crochet in that chain 7 space, and also another single crochet in the top of your chain 4, and about your 4th chain. You'll want to count up to about your 4th chain. And that is row 2, your shell row. Chain 7 and turn, and you're going to attach your next row in the same manner, 4th treble crochet and the single crochet between the 2 shells. But this row will be much easier because you've already have it attached to your blanket. And we're going to repeat these 2 rows until all of your windows are filled in, ending with a row 1. After you've completed the bottom layer of your afghan, we're going to close these ends by crocheting them together with a single crochet edge. I like to start on the bottom row because this part kind of bothers me the whole time I'm crocheting it, so I'm ready to get that closed in. Now what you'll want to do on the bottom row is make sure that the middle of your shell on your bottom layer and your single crochet on your top layer are even. That's really the only rule for the crocheting together part. It might help you to pin them down. And your shell on your top row will need to be even with the single crochet on your bottom row. And like I said, it helps me to pin these together. You're going to turn your top layer. You can actually start in any corner. This is just the part I prefer to do first. You're going to turn your afghan to where the top layer is facing you, and you're going to use the color of your top layer to do this edge. So let me start that. attach your new yarn in any corner through both layers with a single crochet. Do 2 more single crochets in that first corner. And you're going to crochet both layers together all the way across each edge. Now, you don't have to crochet into every single stitch as long as you try to keep it as even as possible. Just crochet in as evenly as possible. And on this bottom row, like I said, when I get to the single crochet and the shell part, I like to make sure those two are crocheted together. And you'll do this all across your afghan, your bottom edge of your afghan. I've now completed the bottom edge of my blanket and have come to my first corner. You're going to put 3 single crochets in each corner. And begin doing your next edge. Since this is a side edge, and since my bottom layer is a little bit shorter than my top layer, there will be a few times where I have to grab the same stitch twice in my bottom layer. And I'll show you what I mean. And as I said, it doesn't have to be every single stitch as long as it's done evenly across. Let me do a couple, just normal. And on this one, I think I will double up. I'll go into that one, then go into my next purple stitch, and then the same cream stitch I did last time. And that will help even out the fact that the bottom layer is slightly shorter. After you've completed each edge and have come back around to your first corner, you'll want to join in that first single crochet that you made with a slip stitch. And then you're going to fasten off. As you can see, I've run out of yarn, but I'm sure you won't make that mistake. You'll weave in all of these ends, and that is your shell pattern double layer blanket.